Well, good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Bowling for Carp, Volume 12. You join me on one of the hottest Julys on record, and I'm here at the start of my session in the car park swim, just about to have the long haul down to the bottom of the M6 bank where it meets the A5. Now, if you've seen one of my previous video footages, I think it was the one before this, which was volume 11, I was fishing towards a reed line down there, and I had a bite off there, but I think I lost it. However, for the past 2 weeks, I've been relentlessly walking up and down these banks, keeping an eye on these fish, keeping an eye on the fish movements, and from early last week, a lot of the fish have been down where I'm going to be heading to now, which is along that reed margin. Now, I spotted them last week and they were just cruising along that reed margin and continuing down towards the A5 bank, and then coming back and going along that reed margin backwards and forwards. And since it's been hot, that's where they seem to want to have been. Now, because I've known they've been down there, I have been putting a lot of bait in there, and it does seem that the bait that I've been putting in has been holding in that area. So I haven't looked around the fishery this morning. I am going straight down there. I'm 99% sure they're going to be there, because they have been there for the past, I think, 10 days. So I'm going to head round there now, but I just thought I'd show you the biosecurity that's been put in place down here on the Bowl Syndicate, just to protect the fishery and the fish. Dave, the owner, has put a net dip in, and he's also put a spray to spray your mats. And just read the rules before you do any fishing down here. Obviously it is only a syndicate water, but it is really important that you spray all your items before fishing, just to keep these pristine fish in the condition and in the good standing that the fishery adopts down here. Right, so I'm going to have a slow batter down there, and I will join you when I'm setting up. So for now, see you shortly, and let's get fishing. Well, I'm down to the right hand side of the swim. I made the long journey from the car park swim all the way down to the bottom of the M6 bank. I'm just right to the swim now, just to have a look, see if I can see them fish patrolling this reed margin just along here. And true to form, there has been no difference from the rest of the week, because as we speak now there's just a few carp just pushing through just out in front of this swim. There's probably about 10 fish out there and a couple here as well. So I've seen a good group of fish just off the reed margin just down here. So that is looking promising. Now this area, or this bay, there is a lot of weed down here, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using long running helicopter rigs. Now when I say long running, I'm going to be moving the top bead up to the top of the leader, putting a PVA foam on the rig, casting it out, and then what will happen is that lead will bury itself into the weed, and because obviously the bead's up to the top, the rig on the PVA foam will go right up to the top end of that bead, hold there with the PVA foam. When the PVA foam dissolves or melts, then it will just rest ever so lightly onto the top end of the weed, and then I'm going to scatter some chops over the top of it. Now I'm using chops. If you've seen the Western Diary, if you put whole boilies in, they don't seem to flutter down onto the top end of the weed. They'll just bury themselves in the weed. Now there is a time and place to do that, but with this weed being like like a light candy floss at the moment where some of it's dying, then I want that rig and them chops to be on top of the weed, rather than fish actually having to push through the weed to get to the bait. Right, so I'm not set up at the moment. There is no need, because I think the fish are going to be feeding until the pressure does drop a little bit. So I'll catch you in a bit. I will spin the camera around and see whether I can put these shades in front of the lens and see whether you can pick these fish up in front of this swim. But it is looking good. Look directly in front of this swim, you'll see a fish just putting its fin out, just breaking the surface. There you go. They are a little bit out from where there was yesterday, but they're still in the area and they're still down here in numbers. Probably seen about 30 fish down here and a few chunks in with it as well, so I am excited. As you can see, there's a fin again. I'm excited to get these rods out, but I don't really want to spook them out the area as of yet. I'll wait in my time, and when them fish ghost out the area, then I'll put a couple of rods in and get them fishing. Well, you join me back at 5:30. I've spent the best part of an hour and a half cleaning out the channel so I can get my rods out and down to the right hand side. While I've been doing that, however, the biggest bed of weed that you've ever seen has decided to park itself out just in front of this swim, so I'm having to wait for the wind just to push that through before I can get my rods out. I have put out a bit of bait in the area, probably about 30 to 40 baits, catapulted out into different areas, out into that bay down to my right hand side. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get anywhere near where I wanted to be, which was close onto that reed margin, and that's because basically because of this floating weed that's down on this margin down to the right hand side. I just can't get a good line lay to it, so I'm having to push out just a little bit out from the margin, where probably about 2 to 3 rod lengths off it, and I found a little bit less weedier area, and I've put a few baits over that area. I'm not concentrating on a spot itself, I'm just catapulting single chops and bait over the area, just to get myself a little bit of a spread. Now when I get the rods out, I'll put a little bit more bait out of the area, and I will sit on that for the rest of the evening until I get a bite. As I get bites, then I'll introduce more bait, but for now I'm just fishing really for a bite at a time, and that'll be the tactics, and then I'll build up the swim as we go along. So I'm going to stick it out at the moment and wait for this weed just to 01, 21, do one. There's a guy out on the boards in that swim. I'm not too sure how he's done. I will reel in tomorrow morning and go and have a walk around there, see how he's getting on. Apart from that, nobody else is on. The wind's changed to more of a southerly, so that'll help me with this reed, because obviously when it's easterly then it's blowing directly onto me, but at the moment it's doing one down to the left hand side. Right, so I'll catch you up a little bit later once these rods are in and I've settled in. I haven't even got my bivvy up yet. These rods come first, and putting bait over the area is essential before putting my house up. It ain't like it's going to rain, is it? So it's what you've got to do. Catch you. Well, with the rods in situ and the house up, I'm just sheltering from the bright sunlight at the moment. So I just thought I'd just pick up and tell you what I've been doing down here for the past 2 weeks. As I said previous, I have put a lot of time in here just walking the banks and just keeping an eye on the fish activity and the fish movements. I've said that since the hot weather's come, the fish seem to want to either be down this corner or be up the other end, and I have targeted down here mainly. About 2 weeks ago I did a quick overnighter on a Thursday in the next swim up. Put a few rods out in open water and I had 2 takes at first light in the morning, so I managed to get a bit of sleep before I went off to work. The one was about 17, the other one I would say about 15, 16 pound. Didn't weigh them, I just took a few little graphs, as you'll probably see now, and took a bit of video and slipped them back on their way. The week after, I think it was a midweek on a Wednesday, I did another overnighter. I had 6 in the night. I had a 220s, an 18, another double, and then 2 other, I would say about 10, 11 pound fish, which I didn't take any video of, so I just took the video of 3 of the biggest of the night. So that was another pleasing result, and the only thing that got me down is I was absolutely knackered at work because the fish come all the way through the night. It was a bit of a haul, to be fair. Yeah, so you're up to date with what I've done and what I've been doing. I'm hoping for the next 48 hours I can get into a few fish and hopefully bag some of these originals that are in here. I have been struggling to try and get through the stockies to get to the bigger fish, but law of averages say the more you go through the stockies, you're bound to pick up an original, so fingers crossed that I do. So I'm going to shelter from the sun for a bit, and I will pick the camera up a little bit later and just show you down to the right hand side where I'm going to be fishing and what I'm doing. So for now, see you shortly. Oh. Right, you join me at 10 o'clock. I'm just out my curtains on the right hand rod, which is just down in the bay, and I've just literally been down there just to have a look. There is still a few fish milling around down there. I'm just going to log off for the evening. I've not been expecting a bite today because of how hot it's been and the pressure being absolutely ridiculous, but it is feeling a little bit better now. It's feeling a little bit more less stuffy, and hopefully that will turn the fish on and they'll start to drop down in the layers. Now we know that the fish do get caught during the night and the first thing in the morning. That is bite time on here, so I can't see why it won't be any different tonight. So I'm going to log off for the evening and chill out and hopefully wait for something good to happen. If I don't get a fish during the night or in the morning, I will be scratching my head because there is that many fish down there that it's surely got to happen. I'm just hoping it's one of the originals that turns up. I can't be doing with another 20 stockies, even though they're 20 pounders, you know what I mean. I am after one of the gems out of here. A nice scaly black thing will do me. Whether it's a double or whether it's a 30 pounder, I will take them all. But you know, these other stockies, you know, I don't really want to be sieving through them every time I come. I do want to get into something a little bit bigger. The plated miracle mount, which is my main target, over on the boards, out at distance. So, you know, maybe she is very catchable. We've still got a few commons in here that haven't been caught, which is the Ernest common, perfect common, the missing common. A football common come out on the boards again a couple of months ago, so maybe, you know, if that's on the munch, she might turn up. I haven't seen a parrot turn up for a bit actually. That's usually getting caught quite often. I don't want that, however, because I've had it, so I don't want a repeat capture. I don't want Ruby, she hasn't come out either. So if one turns up, I'm hoping it's something that I haven't already caught. There was a few chunks down there earlier, and I thought I seen a nice plated mirror down there, so that will do nicely. So for now, good night, and I'm waiting for one of these rods to rattle off. Until then, see you shortly. What's been said about a full moon at night? Common's delight. Let's hope that's a sign of things to come. As predicted, as soon as the light goes down, the pressure drops, the fish have gone on the feed again. This 21 pound mirror. Don't want to leave her out. It's pretty muggy tonight, so the sooner we can send her on her way, the better. Right, third fish of the trip, coming in at 18.5, coming from down the right hand side again, where I sprinkled that bait over a helicopter rig set up. And all the fish have come from down that right hand side now, and they are loving bait. I'm going to get some more bait out, get the rod and rig back out on the spot, and let's see if there's any more want to come for a cut. Right, nice little result going into the first morning down here on the Bowl Syndicate, and 3 fish bagged. 20, that one I put back, and an 18.5. It was nice to get the cameras rolling and see that take. Here we go again. Right, well, I'm not too sure what happened there. By the time I lifted into that take, I didn't feel any resistance at all, so whether the fish had ejected the hook as I lifted the rod up, who knows. However, food for thought, that happened to me twice last week from this swim, so I'm not too sure whether there is a fish trailing line or trailing a lead. And as obviously as that fish swims through the oh, that's a big drop back, that is. Right, fish number 4. Not a big fish in at all. So I'm just going to quickly get her out. I'm not going to graph her and send her on a while. It's about £10. 11 Where was I before I was pleasantly interrupted by that carp? I was just saying that loss that I had where I picked up into nothing. I had that happen twice last week, so you know, it just strengthens my case that there may be a fish trailing a lead out there, and as he's pushing through the swim, obviously he's picking up my lines, so that may be the option. Or they're managing to shake out the hook with the lead on the take. Obviously I'll get a run off it, because when they pick up, they're obviously lifting up the lead, so there is some movement on the delt, because I have got them turned up, because obviously I'm fishing with weed. I want to be on them fish as soon as possible, so I do turn up the sensitivity to its max, unfortunately, so it does give you indication just about anything that's happening out in the lake. So I will get quite a few bleeps if I do get a liner, but that was no liner, that was a fish taking line. Whether it's taking line because it's attached to a lead and it's just bumping over, or whether it's just shaking off the hook as it's starting to take off, who knows. But on the positive, 4 fish on the mat, and we are only 10 hours in, so we've got something to build on, and we could have another good hit on the card. I've still got another 24 hours, 36 hours if I need be, So it is looking promising. Right, back to the fishing, and hopefully one of these bowl chunks will turn up. How many of these stockies do I need to go through to get one of these big ones? That's the question. I'm up to like something like 30 fish out of this swim now, out of them spots, and unfortunately not one of the big ones has turned up, so I might have to look at different places on the lake to fish and see whether I can pick something up from a different area, because at this moment in time I am picking up stockies. Welcome back, 12 o'clock. The rods are in and I'm just about to go and have a scout around the lake, see if I can see anything, see if there is any other anglers on down on the Point bank. There was a guy on there on the boards last night. He might have gone this morning, but I've not seen him this morning, so he may have gone. Put some more bait down on this reed margin and in this area. And I'm going to rest that now till about 5 o'clock before I put my rods out. Some fresh bait out there, fresh rigs, and let's see what it does this evening. Not seen any signs of fish this afternoon down here, like we spotted them yesterday. They've got to be somewhere, haven't they? So let's go and have a little look around. It's absolute boiling. Predicted to be the hottest day on record today. Could be up to 40 degrees. 40 degrees, can you believe that? Certainly isn't pleasant. I'm just looking down here because this is where you spot them. Can't see anything down there. Might be on this wind, to be fair, down the opposite end of the lake. This is the area where I'm casting to, just outside here. Did me 2 fish yesterday. I'm right over there, I'm just casting over. And putting the other 2 rods down to the left. As I said, there is quite a lot of weed there, so if you are going to fish this, go and get yourself some PVA nuggets so you can keep your hook bait above the weed when you cast out, and also it protects it as it goes down from any weed clogging up the hook. No signs of fish yet. Swim. It's a nice swim, this one, to be fair. Water's really down. This was underwater from last year. If you ever fish this swim, make sure you stick to the left hand side, because there is a deep trough that goes out into the water here, and you can only really get down to the left hand side. You'll be surprised how deep that is. You know, especially when the others is only waist high. This trough that goes down the middle will actually cover your waders. Well, it'll actually go over your waders. I'm not too sure at the moment with the water level being down, but last year it certainly was. Which is really beautiful down here. It's nice just to get out the sun, to be fair, with these trees. Another swim. too sure what this is called, but this was underwater, most of this, last year. That's how much down the water level is. I actually put my pod underwater here, and it used to telescope up. Nothing, and that angle is gone. I was on the boards yesterday, did him just wading out, and these are due to be redone in the next few months. I think they're putting another swim just down here as well. Same sort of idea with the boards as well. I think he does really need them, to be fair. That ain't the best. And the weed's gone a little bit from here. Whether it's been anglers that's pushed it away, with obviously constantly going out. But this, you could actually, it was up to the top in weed out there, but it looks alright now, to be fair. There's a swan's nest here. I would imagine that's going to cause a whole load of problems, going from experience. Let's get down to Green Angles, which is a swim right down the other end, and let's see what's occurring down there. I can't believe I've not spotted a fish. I thought they'd been down here. It's probably one of the shallowest parts. Well, it is the shallowest part of the lake. But no, they're not here. Got to be on that wing, haven't they? Which is down the other end. The only thing I can think of. I'm just going on to the man bank now and see what's occurring down here. Well, nothing as of yet. Not even seen a fish. It's always worth reeling in midday, taking a walk around the lake. Seen it time and time again where I've done it myself. I've just sat in the river, sat on my areas, not bothered going for looks, and I've missed opportunities where I could have gone and got more fish, or possibly saved me a blank. Something I'll do all the while now, regardless of whether I'm catching or not. Usually 12 o'clock in a session, I'll reel in and go for a walk. Only you learn these things by making the mistakes. It's making the mistakes that make you a better angler. And I'm sure I've made a few mistakes in my time. Made a mistake on this one really, but bringing the floater gear. The fish on top yesterday, probably could have got an early bite, but it is what it is. I left it at the town, decided to leave it at the town, and it may have cost me a fish, who knows. Oh, I might see the fish, Oh, no, it ain't. Bleeding coot. Nothing along the car park swim. Join me on the M6 bank. I have walked the perimeter of the lake. If I had a chance to bet where they are, it would be around this area, I would believe, with that wind. But am I going to move? No, I'm not. I think them fish are going to be back down here at some time. And they've been there, as I said before, been there for a good 10 days now, so they have no reason to move. So I'm going to chill out for the rest of the afternoon, crack open a cold beer, if it's still cold that is, and wait until a little bit later when I get these rods out and put a little bit more bait out. But we'll also run through what I am actually doing to my boilies, and we'll take a look at that. It may interest you. Right, well, you join me at 4:30. I'm just going to start looking to get the rods out and get a bit of bait out there. So I did say I was going to run through what I do with the boilies, and these have already been coated with this liquid I'm going to show you. This is the Maxi Fish stem liquid, which is basically feed stem with a scent of Maxi Fish flavour. So it does actually match the boilies that you're using, but with a legendary liquid of feed stem. Now, feed stem was originated in Europe, I think, and it is one of the legendary fish stimulants on the market today. I don't think there is anything a little bit better than fish feed stem for attracting fish down and getting them stimulated to feed, hence the name. The liquid in here has all the nutrients that the fish find hard to locate naturally, and it is an all-time classic. So what I'm doing basically, I get through absolutely loads of this stuff because I put it in spod mix, I put it in my boilies, and I just keep giving these a little bit of coating. Check the bag up. Probably about the 5th time that I've done this. I do feel that, you know, if you use the method of layers, it does take longer for that feed or that liquid to break down on the lake bed, on the boilies. So if you can keep on coating the boilies, dry, letting them air dry, coating them, letting them air dry again, longer for that attraction to leak out of the boilies. So there you have it. You can see already, because of how warm the bag is, that that liquid is drying onto the baits really quick. Now you can't overdo this liquid. Put as much as you want on, that's the beauty of it. There is no minimal or maximum amount you can use. Just go with what you feel. See, let's give them a nice even coating. And as I said, you probably scratch the surface that I've been putting this on for over a week. So it's well and truly coated them right up. So yeah, that is basically what I'm doing. So let's get this bait out and let's start to get some of these rods out in position for the evening and the night ahead. See you shortly. Well, you join me back at 6:30 and the rods are out and we are fishing once again for this evening and tonight. Today has been absolutely scorching. Thankfully now we've got a little bit of overcast and a little bit of breeze in the air, so it is a little bit more pleasant. Now we've got a bit of cloud cover as well. Tactics are the same as last night. I'm fishing the exactly same spots. And before I reeled in earlier on, I did put quite a bit of bait out over the areas while I rested the swim. As I put the rods out, I've just put a couple of spots out over the areas, and that's where I'm going to be fishing for the rest of the evening. The wind that's pushing down on a southeasterly, there is a few fish down there that I spotted earlier. However, I didn't jump down there because I did want to stay on these baited areas. As I said, I have spotted them down here for most of the week, and I don't believe anything's going to change, and I think them fish will be back sometime during the night or in the morning. Plus, I have been putting a bit of bait out, so if one of them originals do turn up and visit the spot that I've been baiting up, then there is a chance of a clonker on the cards. So I'm going to enjoy the rest of the evening. I'll pick the camera up a little bit later on before I log off for the night. But for now, I'll catch you a little bit later. Well, you join me at 9:30. This is the view from the swim over the Bowl Syndicate. I want to get my head down, settle in for the evening, and wait for good things to happen. I'm hoping, just hoping, I'll be woken up by a fish or two during the night. So until then, good night. Right, well, good morning. They do say that every day is a different day, and you wouldn't believe the difference from yesterday. This morning it's wind, rain, overcast and generally miserable. Now you think that would have brought the fish on, but unfortunately it hasn't. All quiet during the night apart from losing a fish around about 12 o'clock that I thought may have been a chunk. I will tell you about that a little bit later on, but I'm going to slip the fish back and get this rod out. Let's see whether they may come on the feed this morning, but it was all quiet last night. Right, good morning. First brew this morning. Pretty quiet night last night compared to the previous night. However, I did get a take around about 12 o'clock, and from the outset it did feel a better fish. Felt like it had a little bit of weight behind it, and it also was just slow pondering, so it did feel like a good fish, to be fair. Why said I don't know, fisherman. The one that got away was a big one, but it did feel a little bit like it had a little bit of weight behind it. And I played it all the way in, and I knew that weed would come to bite me in the arse, and it did. The fish managed to get into the marginal weed, and I just seen it just top underneath the water as I was just pulling it back. Pulled it back with a big ball of weed, netted a big ball of weed, took the weed out the net, nothing was there. It done me, can you believe it? So I went to bed sulking. Wasn't very pleased. Good job nobody was on the bank last night. Nobody could hear me, because there was a few swearing going on, let me tell you. Cheers. Now, oh, peace sake, the milk's off. Didn't believe it. 2nd of August. Fuck's sake. Just managed to get another cup out of it. That was the weather yesterday, without doubt. Just needs to turn the milk. It's 9:30 now, and we are on the back end of bite time down here. I have decided, unfortunately, to bring volume 12 to an end. I think with these high winds that have come on pushing down the opposite end of the lake, these fish have backed off me somewhat. Obviously fishing down to my right hand side, we are at the opposite end of the lake, which is on the back end of the wind, so these high winds I think have pushed them a little bit more over that way. However, we did manage to winkle one out this morning, but I think my chance last night come and went. Unfortunately, we're losing that fish into the marginal weed. So I hope you've enjoyed the session. I've enjoyed coming down here and relaxing, and putting a few fish on the mat also. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Hit that bell icon, that will give you the updates and keep you notified when I update my Carp album. Now, find the subscribe button in one of these corners. I think it's this one, but most probably when I upload it, it will be that one. So for now, bish bash bosh, wet nets, tight lines. See you on the next video. Let's get packed up.